My name is Sandy Stewart. I serve as the Assistant Commissioner of Agriculture for the North Carolina Department of Agriculture. In my role, I work a lot with the Agricultural Services Divisions, and we've been involved in the hemp program since its inception here in North Carolina, particularly from the plant industry side of it, and running the program on behalf of the North Carolina Hemp Commission. And I do serve also as the Vice Chair of the North Carolina Hemp Commission on behalf of Commissioner of Agriculture Steve Troxler. This is a virtual field day, like a lot of things are now with the effects of COVID-19. And as I understand it, the research stations will not be holding any in-person field days, or at least we don't have any scheduled right now. And so this is a new format for us, and it has some limitations, but I think it also has some good points, because many times I think we can draw in research and things from a wider geography with a virtual field day than we could with one that's in person. And so we'll just have to make the best of what we have. And I want to thank everybody for joining us. And I thank you for your interest in bioenergy and the new and emerging crops initiative. And certainly there's a lot of interest, as there has been in the last few years, in the hemp industry as it grows in North Carolina. Our hemp program in North Carolina has really grown by leaps and bounds. We now license, I think probably the number, it changes every time we have a hemp commission meeting and approve more license applications, but somewhere around 1,500 licensees and well in excess of 10,000 acres of hemp are licensed in North Carolina, and several million square feet of greenhouse space. Whether all that is planted or not is a different matter, because the market for hemp has been a sort of a moving target. It's been relatively undefined, and so it's difficult to say exactly how many acres of hemp we grew in 2019, or what will actually be planted in 2020. It'll certainly be less than our licensed acres, but it's still an industry that holds a lot of promise for a lot of people, and one that we'd like to see foster and grow in this state. We have said from the very beginning that hemp is a new crop. This will be our fourth growing season in 2020. And we're still operating under the pilot program, which was enabled by the 2014 Farm Bill. The regulatory situation with hemp seems to have changed quite a bit over time, and it's still evolving. And I mentioned the market uncertainty is still there, and that's still evolving as well. From a law standpoint or regulatory standpoint, we see a lot of gray areas in the law. The 2014 Farm Bill enabled our pilot program in North Carolina. Since that time, new legislation has passed at the federal level with the 2018 Farm Bill. And the 2018 Farm Bill set up a framework and directed USDA to develop rules, or what they call interim final rules, for a hemp program nationwide. And states have the option of submitting a plan to operate under those rules with USDA. At this point in time, North Carolina has not submitted a plan. We see some issues with the interim final rules. They're somewhat different than our pilot program in terms of requiring every field in North Carolina to be tested for THC content. The testing has to take place within 15 days of harvest. And those are some issues that, based on our experience running the pilot program, we see a lot of difficulty in even implementing the USDA rules. So for right now in 2020, we'll be operating a pilot program under the same rules that we have been operating since the inception. I guess that was in 2016 or 17 was our first crop. Our ability to operate that pilot program in North Carolina will expire on October the 30th of this year, of 2020. We've asked Congress and USDA to extend that time frame so that over the life of the interim final rule, which is a 2-year cycle, that we would be able to have the option of operating under USDA rules or under our current North Carolina pilot program rules. That has not been approved at this point in time. So there is some uncertainty about what'll happen on October the 30th. And there's a lot of questions about whether our current licensees would be grandfathered into a new hemp into the USDA program, or whether we would be able to, whether they have to reapply to USDA. Just a lot of uncertainty there. And uncertainty has sort of been the hallmark of hemp all along. It holds a lot of promise. It holds a lot of economic promise. And certainly there is a market for hemp and hemp-related products, but it's largely been an undefined market to this point in time. And part of that is because of the the uncertainty as far as regulation at the federal and the state level. We saw last summer a lot of controversy in the North Carolina General Assembly about smokable hemp. The General Assembly has not acted one way or the other on that issue right now. And so I guess you'd say hemp is a situation where farmers have had to be very adaptable to a moving target, and the Department of Agriculture and the Hemp Commission has had to be very adaptable to a moving target as well. So if I were to sit here and say that I could predict the future of hemp, I would certainly be telling you a lie, because I don't think anybody can predict that future. However, we know because of the grant programs, like through the bioenergy program and other research that's been done with NC State and NCA&T, we know we can produce this crop. There's no question about that. It's just what kind of regulatory framework are we going to have moving forward for the crop production, but also the regulation of the products, such as the CBD containing products, the tinctures, the salves, and even other products there. Hemp is very complicated, and so we've just had to move our way through this as well as we can.